Hi, Service Innovation Class 2, Understanding Your Capabilities. But first, what did we do last week? I showed you the model and my view in service innovation that you have to understand where you're coming from, your environment in which you operate before you can begin to innovate. Once you have innovated, you need to be able to sell it. And all of these make a messy iteration and going backwards and forwards. We looked at product service systems. What are they? We understood why we needed to do service by looking at where the margins come from, and we closed out by giving a summary of what we covered in terms of the new concepts of product service systems and what was expected of you in the exams. Understanding service centers and their capabilities is very important. Identifying where innovation takes place with the Doblin model is very useful. Understanding that open innovation in service is normal innovation. I want you to map out an ecosystem. Watch the videos, really useful. Recommend you watch them again because they do help and they explain why service design is very important. Where does innovation take place? I use Doblin. I think it's great. It provides a set of boxes on configuration, offering, and experience where innovation can take place. Really helpful. Another way to manage that is look at the business model canvas and assume that innovation can happen in all and any of the boxes. Remember, it's not the strongest that survive. It's those that can adjust to change. That's something which I think we often forget about. And we really need to keep that in mind. We need to be flexible. So we've got some myths about innovation. Innovation is not about being creative. Innovation is not about the hot new product necessarily. It's not about senior execs keeping away. It's not about financial analytics alone. It's not about reliable concepts. In fact, I want you to test some very unreliable stuff in the market to see whether you think it's going to work and learn from it. And an innovation stage gate process doesn't necessarily guarantee success either. What's really important is being able to set the scene. Set innovation strategy, design, build and launch innovations and become better innovators. This is a loop which just shows that you can improve. Different activities underneath it, but I want to focus today on the 10 types of innovation. Where do we innovate? Can you map out today where you think innovation takes place? We can. Dolbin's done it. So looking at their results, we show that the offering, new product development, has the most amount of spend on it. That's great because that must be where the most amount of revenue comes from. It's not. It's quite terrifying. We spend the money where the returns don't come. We need to look at other areas where we think that returns could come from, and we actually discover that some of those are very profitable. Customer experience, brand, channel, and service on the experience angle can provide great feedback for relatively little input. Also looking at your profit model and your network, you can make a lot of money there with relatively small investments. Process and structures can also have a great impact on your business. So why is this? Why do we invest all the money in the offering but we get returns at other places? B2B environment, product offering costs a lot of money to do, and you kind of have to do it. It's a bit of golden egg. Now we have to look at other places to be able to remain competitive and to grow our business better, which is really why the open innovation model supports the findings of Doblin, and it pushes it a few steps further. How do we get customer co-creation, open innovation, platform business model innovation? How do we work with our partners, customers, third parties in performing processes with inputs and outputs? Innovation, first of all, is not always wanted. We tried it 20 years ago, it didn't work. Yeah, so what? Customers might not have been ready for it. You might not have been ready for it. Technology might not have been ready for it. Think about what's changed. I'd like you to watch the video on TED and you see the customer experience, how that fits together Chasebro has done a great job of putting customer experience, and I think this is really important. In a B2B environment, this is very difficult because you have many, many actors who are in effect customers, and they all take different roles at different times. So let's have a look at the open services value chain. What does it mean? Who do we work with? What do we learn from other places? There's big differences here between products and service development. Much broader activity is associated with service development, and it can impact on many, many aspects of the business. Think of it as a leaky funnel. Put stuff in, you can lose stuff, but you can make money from it. You can capture stuff on the way through as well. And again, different to product in some respects, but similar to products. Chasebro recommends the touch points. Identify your touch points. We will use this later on. This is a bit of a job to be done. We make a reservation, we arrive at the restaurant, we ask for a table, we go to the table, we receive the menu, we order our drinks, finally we leave. We segment according to quick food, 5-star meal, with friends, takeaway, make business, whatever. I want you to be able to use these touch points to actually identify who we interact with, who interacts with whom, when they interact, and how they interact. Now I want to move on to service center capabilities. Can you map out where the service centers are? They're different. I don't like the word audit, but we need some sort of catalogue. What it is we do, what do customers buy, what is it we do, what capabilities? Do we have a common language? Is there a shared system? How do you share new ideas? How do you replicate new ideas? Using a common CRM ERP system helps, but it's not enough. How does it work? Who are the experts in it? Who are the me too? Who do we go to? How does HR support this network? How do we reward people rather than hinder them? How does the culture support joint projects? Do we have a list? Do we know what we've got in all the workshops in terms of capabilities or not? Who maintains that list? We haven't got those lists. We have nothing other than individual service centers. Classwork. Look at the cycling city and identify where you think the innovation could take place. Types of services. What capabilities exist within your individual team? So, understand why the network that you have, your service network, is important and what capabilities that you have. Can you identify where the innovation takes place? Do you know how to integrate open innovation into service development? I think that's really important to bring those aspects. Can you map out service center innovation? That was the final bit I wanted you to do in your case. Now you're equipped to understand your company, its culture, its ability to deliver services, and importantly, to create new services.